welcome to another video. Sorry if I'm being a little bit quiet, but just conscious that Erin's upstairs and I don't want to wake her up any more than they already have. Time is, god damn it, don't have my watch on yet, but it's around 6 AM and I'm about to head off into the Pentlands for my first of 3 sessions for the day. 60 to 90 minutes in the Pentlands with Johnny, first and foremost. Back here, shower and change, then head into the office for morning of work, lunchtime, intervals in the pool, afternoon of work, back here, turbo trainer, Sufferfest session this evening. So what I thought I'd do is take you through a full day of eating around a triple training session day, which is quite the mouthful, as this is. I've got honey all over my fingers. Oh, terrible, terrible. Nonetheless, what I'm going to be doing is giving you a bit more context on how I'm eating at the moment once we're at the office. But for starters, if you want a really in-depth breakdown of how I balance nutrition as a hybrid athlete, then please look for this video here. That'll give you all the context and information you need on how I approach things. So if anything is unclear during this video, 99 times out of 100 it's probably going to be answered in that video. Link will be in the description down below. But what I'm going to do is give you a running total of the calories throughout the day. First up, we have a serving of Rise by Human24, which I've been using for about 12 weeks and can honestly say has been the total game changer. So it's basically just the morning elixir of the gods. Caffeine, electrolytes, bit of creatine, just all the ingredients you need to really put a rocket up your arse in the morning without much of the crash that you get from sort of standardized caffeine morning drinks. So it's been real steady and working really well for me as a training supplement as well as just a general day-to-day optimization supplement. So highly recommended, and you can use my link down in the description below if you want to grab yourself some of that as well. And then here we have a bagel with some banana and honey, simply to get some carbs on my stomach before we head off. Calories and the macros on the screen for you now. That total will develop as the day goes on. But as I've been talking for quite a long time already, I'm going to see you in the hills. Alright, so about 8 minutes in, and I clearly have not hit the switch on the plug overnight on my Garmin potentially, so I'm just going to have to best guess the calories on this one, to be perfectly honest. So good start to the video, Fergus, well done. Very nice work, very nice work. Good admin, good prep. But nonetheless, back to running. Right, back down from the hills, and as the watch is dead, I don't have much data to give you, but best guess, that was about 7.5k, just moving at a steady pace throughout. Purpose of that session was just sort of sub-thresholdy work in the hills, but we didn't take it that too high in intensity because we're just getting used to that terrain again. But I do need to get used to hills, elevation, technical trails, etc. for a reason that will become clear soon enough. But yeah, 500 calories that I will eat back on top of my baseline, but I'll explain all of that to you when I am in the office. So I think what I'm going to go do is charge my watch at home and see you at the house for breakfast. Alright, and back at the house and breakfast is served. Oh my god, nearly spilt it all over the sofa, but we live to fight another day. So this is 100 grams of oats, some frozen raspberries, and a scoop of Human 24 strawberry and banana plant protein, which is basically my go-to every breakfast. If you've seen any of my previous videos, you will know that. So I have that there, and I have a black coffee from Contact Coffee, and that will be all of my caffeine for the day. I'm pretty strict with having an 11 AM curfew, and I can now tell you the time as I have put my watch on charge and, most importantly, turned it on at the wall. So it's completely my fault, not Garmin's. How bad is that? Anyway, it is just coming up past 9:15, and then that will be my final hit of caffeine for the day. I found it's really helped my sleep, really helped my recovery, not abusing caffeine throughout the day. So Human 24 rise in the morning, Contact Coffee or something at the office, or if I'm meeting a friend, I'll have one more coffee, and that is it. Even if I do get the itch for more, I'm trying to be strict with that. I'll then have some flow in the afternoon, which I'll show you, and then I have a sleep supplement at night, which has been really working well for my overall rhythm, recovery, routine, etc, etc. Anyway, calories and macros on the screen for my breakfast now, and I will see you at the office to give you a bit of a breakdown on how I'm approaching nutrition today, why I'm approaching that way, and where you can find some more information on how to do it for yourself. See you soon. Okay, so change of plan. Rather than filling you in at the office, I'm going to fill you in on the way to the office because I'm being driven in by my chauffeur or life partner, depending on who you're asking. And the dogs are in the back, they're coming with us. You can normally see a tuft of hair sticking out over the top when Harley's itching to be in the front with us, but she's actually content today. Pig's not tall enough to be seen from the back, but he did once actually climb over my shoulder just on some back Highland country roads. It was very dangerous, and we still don't really know why he did it, because he wasn't scared. He's the easiest dog to be driven in the history of dogs to be driven, and he then just kind of sat on my shoulder like a parrot for a little while before we pulled over and put him back in the back seat. But anyway, this is not about the pig dog, big tangent there. This is about nutrition and how I'm eating and what context you need so that this video makes sense. So if you look for the video with this thumbnail here, it gives you all the information on how I approach nutrition on a day-to-day basis, the variables to consider, etc, etc, and how you can consider those too. That gives you the foundations to understand this video, but all you need to know for context today is that my baseline calorie intake is 2,500, and that is because I'm at a slight deficit. I'm just trying to recomp a little bit, lose a little bit of body fat, holding on to as much mass and strength as I can with the focus of my training at the moment. So endurance volume's pretty maintenance focused, but I'm just doing more reps and more volume and more frequency in the gym. So it means I can hold on to a bit more muscle mass whilst in a deficit, if that makes sense. So I've been doing this for about 3-4 weeks, probably got 3-4 weeks more left at 2,500, and then I'll go back up to maintenance, which is about 3,100 as a baseline day to day. But the important thing is knowing that I eat back 90% of the calories burnt according to Garmin's estimates. I didn't have my watch this morning, so I've just rounded it to 500 calories. So what I end up doing basically is taking the calories burnt according to Garmin, times it by 0.9, and then add that onto my daily baseline for the day. So thus far for the day, the calories that I need to eat are 2,500 plus 500, which ordinarily would be 0.9 times whatever Garmin said I burnt this morning. But as Garmin hasn't said anything, as I forgot to charge it overnight, whoops, then we are just looking at 500. So 3,000 calories, but I have 2 more training sessions to go today, so I will add those onto my daily total as the day unfolds. But nonetheless, that is the context required. Hopefully everything makes sense now. Exposition is over. See you at the office for real this time. Alright, so we have arrived, and so has a whiteboard with much more assembly than I wanted to deal with. We've got these things. That could have been bad. One of those, a whole load of assembly stuff that I hadn't really accounted for today, so that's going to get done, and then probably, I think that probably warrants a snack after that, don't you think? So, fingers crossed, by the next time we catch up, I will be sipping on something delicious with a completed whiteboard as well. It wasn't without challenges, and it's a little bit tight on space, and the video cut out seconds before we actually managed to put the whiteboard on the frame we built, not that efficiently, but that is a whiteboard. I'm a little bit frustrated, a little bit sweaty, and in need of something refreshing, I think. So, second scoop of this today, just so I can sort of get my protein count up ahead of time. I'm gonna have this and then head for a swim in about an hour. Reason I'm having plant protein from Human 24 rather than whey, by the way, is because it's sort of supplemented with vitamin D3 and K2, flaxseed oil and MCT, and it's got prebiotic fibre in it, and it tastes fantastic. So I've been having that rather than whey recently because I can get a bit more in terms of micronutrition throughout the day. However, I've got 250 millilitres of skimmed milk in here, so plant protein with skimmed milk. The irony is not lost on me. I'm going to sip this. Calories and macros on the screen for you now. Totals somewhere else. I'm going to see you at the pool. Okay, so RNS meals, jerk chicken, plantain and white rice with some broccoli following my swim, session 2 out of 3 complete. So 500 metre warm up, 5 by 100 metres, 5 by 50 metres and 5 by 25 metres, all at sort of max effort pace. 45 seconds between the 100s, 30 seconds between the 50s and 15 seconds between the 25s. 100 metre cool down, so basically a mile of work because we were a bit pressed for time. It's actually 10 past 4 now, so the day has kind of run away with me somewhat. We're going to eat that. Calories and macros have already been on the screen for you, so totals are just here. How about that? Now I'm going to have one of these, which is left over from a car drive recently. It's basically a Mars bar with some protein in it. There's no real nutritional value to it other than that, but they taste decent, so I shan't complain. But gonna get this down me, head home, session number 3, and then show you what's for dinner. Alright, so we are home after a fairly tumultuous journey. It wasn't that bad, to be fair. I just had to drop off a borrowed wetsuit and a borrowed pair of cycling shoes that Hunter and somebody else has recently used, but you'll see more of that soon enough. And I have started some preparation for some fajitas, which is Spanish, or Mexican in fact. Mexican isn't language, I should have just led with Spanish. For good times with friends. So I'm gonna have these chopped up as Erin can't handle cutting onions. She cries, it's bad. There's ski goggles in here somewhere that she needs. But I'm gonna chop these up and then get on the turbo for session number 3 and then sit down to some fajitas. Pretty simple really. I honestly don't really know what the rest of the food content's going to look like, but I'm going to make this and the fajitas to follow the rest. So it might not be exactly the sort of total calorie intake that I'm looking for the day to an absolute T, because I'm not going to track it all, but equally it will be enough. It might be a little bit over the estimate, but as I've said, good times with friends. For reference, these are the friends. Alright, so we are good to go. Kicker set up, P3X loaded, and we have the Sufferfest here. Doing the best thing in the world. For anyone that knows the Sufferfest's features, it is definitely not the best thing in the world. I have done it before and it is dreadful. So they're big fat liars at Sufferfest and Wahoo HQ. Let the record show. Let the record show. But what I'm going to show you here is just how it's put together. So it's basically steady build into some above FTP intervals with some harder efforts thrown in. The whole purpose of this session is basically to improve high intensity recovery and just get 45 or 47 minutes. I think it is just real hard effort. So that is session number 3 inbound, but it's not going to be too long. It's going to be intense though, because today has been quite intensity heavy. This morning's run wasn't quite as intense as it normally would be, but that's because we're easing back into hill work. But just for reference, that is how things are looking at the moment. So I'm going to crack on and let's see what we end up with. So we've got the calories from the run, the swim, and this to play with on top of my 2500 calorie baseline, which is probably going to be made up of entirely fajitas remaining and maybe a margarita as well. We shall see. But nonetheless, bike montage in 3, 2, 1. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, there's some queso in there, and we have some prowlers. What might you be after, madam? Oh, not guilty, huh? Oh, where? Oh no, play dumb. All right, we have some spread right here. I am sipping on the Best of a Bad Bunch alcohol-free IPA from Beavertown, which I'm thoroughly enjoying, and we have fajita. OD just very audibly farted in the corner of the room. Shameful, shameful. Anyway, that is the spread in front of us that we can see. I'm very, very excited. I'm basically going to have 3 or 4 of these. I haven't actually figured out how many calories I have left. I've kind of been winging it today in terms of intake a little bit. But as we already know, run this morning, I'm going to count 500 calories to eat back. The swim was 400 calories, so I'm going to eat 350 back, so that's 850. And then the bike tonight, that was 525 calories, so times that by 0.9, it's about 460 something, so I'm going to make it 450. So we are looking at 1,300 calories on top of my baseline of 2,500, which leaves us with, drumroll please, you'll know already because it's on the screen, but let's build suspense towards the end of the video anyway, because I'm about to have heaters. 3,800. I actually had to think there for a second. Oh my god, that was bad. But nonetheless, 3,800 calories is the aim today. So whatever I've had, I will consume in best guess fajita wise. You can be very, very anal with tracking and worry about the finer details, etc., etc. But I've hit my protein today. I'm just about going to hit my micronutrients. I might, if needs be, have a smoothie or something with some spinach in it after this, just to top that up. But generally speaking, not the worst day, not the best day in that side of things. But protein's been ticked, carbs has been very much ticked, and I'm going to be around about the calorie intake that I need to be for the day, so I don't need to stress too much about how much to the finer gram, etc. from this point onwards that I need to eat, because I've got a big pile of chicken, salsa, cheese, and guac in front of me, and I don't even know how many calories in this thing. 25 per 100 mils, so about 65. Basically nothing. So that is 3 training sessions done there. That final bike session felt pretty tough, to be honest. I had a lot of fatigue in my legs from this morning, and I actually couldn't get the best thing in the world to load, so I had to do as you're told, which is a different one. Anyone that's done Sufferfest training will know what I'm talking about. If you don't, you will think, what is this man blabbering on about? But that is me for the day. I do hope you've enjoyed this, and it's given you a bit of an insight into how I sort of eat around such a big training day. Volume wasn't too high, intensity was fairly high, but splitting 3 separate disciplines into a day is always a challenge. So if you don't mind me, I'm going to eat all this. Thank you very much. Erin's squirming as she's trying to take the lid off the cheese, which she's successfully done in the background. So I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. See you next time.